Welcome everyone, I am Jammy, and this is another update video for Rust. This is update 133, and in its rusted bowels are components and harbors and hair. Oh my. Without any further obstruction, let's dive right in. Aggressively kicking off this devlog is our first look at the harbor, or looks, since there is two versions of a medium-sized harbor being worked on over at Facepunch. Their idea is to offer an easier place to traverse for fresh spawns, where they can find loot for early game crafting without the constant clash against well-equipped players. This also means that there will be no sniper's nests in the harbors, so buildings that usually grant you access to those floors no longer will. Harbor 1 is a condensed version of the concept art that Facepunch started with. This idea is 3 piers with 2 pockets of interest on land and 1 pocket spread on the ocean across barges and tugboats. Harbor 2 features largely flat terrain enclosed by cliffs on the back. The area is a maze of shipping containers which you will be able to explore for loot or hide in if things get too tense for your slightly naked body. Everything you've just seen is obviously a work in progress, and the lovely overlords at Facepunch are still refining the layouts. As you saw, there is still plenty of gray boxed art present, and they've got a list of assets left to produce, and they're estimating another month before the harbors hit main. Facepunch is also attempting to reduce the amount of untextured assets that are released with the harbors. They will keep us posted. After Facepunch cleared away some leftover bugs from last week, they were finally able to start working on support shaders for hair and fur materials. These shaders usually require some sort of opacity and an isotropic highlight control, both of which are sadly not supported in Rust's current setup. The sort of opacity needed is a special case, which lets the devs get away with temporal alpha to coverage, which essentially means it's a cutout opaque, albeit a dithered one. This feature can also be used to achieve more fitting anti-aliasing on vegetation. The purpose of this purely aesthetic feature is to keep your future sexy beard from flickering and ruining your chances of getting some booty. The ambient light inside of buildings has been fixed. The interiors of these structures will now be darker than before, but not quite as dark as an angsty teen's soul, unfortunately. Memory usage from items that used a legacy deployable component has been fixed. To name a few of these aggressors are wooden boxes, doors, and external walls. Last week's cave flooding wasn't 100% bug-free and completely skipped over spectating and debug camera modes. These should now be fixed along with a bug that caused water to disappear when relogging. Thanks for that, fellas. Another heavy part of this update sees the pistol/revolver getting a huge buff. Facepunch decided that pistols needed a use beyond being a primary weapon. The animations have been adjusted so that way they deploy in about 0.5 seconds, making it better to switch to your secondary firearm instead of reloading your primary. This brings your chances of survival up a significant amount if you miss with the SMG or your rifle. Following almost identically in the pistol update's footprints comes an update to the animations of the bolt-action rifle. Its animations are now tighter and much more fluid than what it used to be. You can thank Battlefield 1 for these new animations, since the game inspired Facepunch to rework the bolty. Continuing with the gun updates, the LR300 assault rifle received some love in the form of an iron sight overhaul. It looks very similar to what it used to be, except for one major detail: it's much more open than it was before, making target tracking and acquisition much easier. The map obtained a world model this week as well as LODs. Player models also have hold type animations for the map as well, along with a model for the map when you drop it out of your inventory. Some clothing options in the workshop did not have proper female variants, resulting in some pretty amusing screenshots to be taken. For better or worse, this issue has been fixed. However, we'll always have this video to look at this beautiful gem provided by Facepunch.
Oh wait, you serious? Let me laugh even harder.
The long-teased hazmat suit has had more work done. A rather nice shot of a nearly complete respirator has been released for our viewing needs, although the hazmat suit itself is not quite done yet. The devs stated that this is because the female variants took longer than expected. The finished products will hopefully be coming out soon. The first round of item placement sounds has been completed and implemented into the game. Doors, window bars, and other building pieces still need some work, but every standalone deployable now has a sound. Sound occlusion received a few more tweaks this week, and thus is still off by default. Some more tests will need to be ran in the meantime, but if you would like to check it out for yourself, you simply need to type audio.occlusion1 in the F1 console. Gunshots and bullet flybys are getting some tweaks this week, with the silenced MP5 and LR300 having new gunshots getting created. Bullet flybys are being worked on since the sound is a bit too homogeneous for Facepunch's taste. saying it all sounds like the same high-end whiz. Some variations are being created and tested, accentuating the mid-ranges more instead of the highs, along with a more supersonic crack to make them more terrifying. A junk pile concept is being created over at Facepunch right now. Unfortunately, there isn't any screenshots yet, but they could come in the near future. These junk piles will be scattered around Rust landscapes, probably concentrated more around the rad towns, and can be scavenged for various components. Speaking of components, the component system on the pre-release branch has received an update as well. All the items that Facepunch felt needed components to craft now require components to craft. Drop tables have also been altered, so there will no longer be any completed items being found in barrels and crates. You will now only find components. On the bright side, completed items will still be found inside the airdrops, so you won't be shortchanged for winning a battle for epic loot. This new system makes the components feel valuable and rare and will hopefully be a fun new experience for everyone. Aside from radiation being added back into Rust, this coming week will be all about balance, so when the next update is pushed out, it should be fun for everyone. It seems the Unity engine, which is the game engine used to make Rust, seems to still be causing problems through object instantiates and activating. I'm sorry if I butcher these. This is a problem since when the instantiate overhead was eliminated with prefab pooling, the activate overhead remained largely unchanged by the optimizations. This problem is caused by the Unity engine freeing native component memory when a game object with an animator has been deactivated. This triggers a very slow memory allocation the moment you reactivate the object, making prefab pooling much slower than it should be. A new way of prefab pooling is being prototyped, and one that would not change the game object's state when the pool is entered or left. This would also eliminate some overhead that scales with the number of child objects and components on the game, which, as Facepunch says, is
nice.
That concludes this Rust update video. Leave a like if you liked the video, a dislike if you did not. Tell me your thoughts down in the comment section below, share the video with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe if you want more, and I will see you all in the next video.